Better get it in before curfew. Better let it out before they stop you. Don't let the pacifier silence you.
I suppose it kind of just happens, especially because, well, not for me anyway. When I'm writing, I don't think, oh, I'm going to write in this style. I never approach it like that. But when you spend so long listening to music and then growing up listening to music, you get obsessed with albums and stuff. I think that stuff totally gets into your head without you realising. So then when you start writing, maybe it pops up every so often.
I'm working on a tight curfew. I'm working on a strict schedule for you.
I actually feel like it's less pressure because I'm not worried about the music so much. And I can just focus on using lyrics and vocals as instruments, and it's really, really nice. Really like doing that actually. And then if you have little musical ideas, you can always put them out there, but it's nice just having one kind of area to focus on. New song buzz is the best the minute you do it. Like, you're sitting at the piano and you're like, oh my god, I just wrote this new song, and like it's the best feeling ever, and it keeps you buzzed. And like there would be days where you're coming home, for me anyway, I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying to play that song. It just feels like you need to get it out of your system or something. And it is essentially like you're getting something out of your system when you write a new song, you know, because sometimes you don't even know where it came from, but you know you're doing it about something, and something that obviously affected you. So when you get it out, it feels deadly. But yes, playing it live for the first time is always a little bit scary because you don't know how people are going to react. But then at the same time, you're doing it because you love it and you hope they're going to love it too. How do you pick a favourite lyric of your own without seeming egotistical? Let me think. Favourite lyric? I suppose in Silk, when I said that there was an ocean in the desert and it's waiting for me, I suppose that was a nice thing to have said anyway. You know, it's quite a positive thing to say. So that's probably one of my faves. One of now. But yeah.
There's an island, I call it the stars. It's where you'll find it, it's calling me far. Can't deny it, I'm calling you more. Won't conspire it, believe that it's called. In the desert. Water, water, wash away
Not really. But I would always find myself with the guitar and just playing songs that I love, and then almost all the time, what happens is that I do something I think I've done 100 million times, and it sounds differently, and there's a phrase comes out or whatever. That's usually how a song starts. But I don't. I've never been one for that I needed to go to the side of a mountain or some exotic kind of place. Usually, I'm staring at a wall, and I can get it together. Yeah. Someone was asking me this today. I've been asked to do this talk on what it means to be an Irish musician and whatever. And honestly, what I found is that when I was living in New York, I wrote a lot of songs about Irish stuff and home and family, and now that I'm here, I actually know that I've written a song for the new record that is kind of my little homage to New York. So that says more about me than I think anything. I think there's, as a writer, maybe I need to stop for a couple of months, and then I'm thinking about 6 months ago or a year ago, whatever. But they're powerful places. So there is inspiration in there or whatever. Just it takes a while to kind of bubble to the surface. But that's what I did. I spent all those years living in New York and writing songs about Christmas biscuits and my mother, and it was bizarre, very Freudian. Yeah. Volunteer gets mentioned a lot as a song, each verse tells its own little story. I had this idea. The volunteer was the hook. I managed to get a Star Wars reference into a verse. I'm very kind of proud of that. I have a new song on the record called Down in Front, and there's something about me and sorrow, and that's just me. I beg, but I don't borrow. It's called Down in Front. It just came out, and I was thrilled with it. The best ones and the ones you're really proud of are the ones that you've never really worked on. It's just your brain has in its own little magic or own little madness has come up with a phrase that feels really easy to sing and feels really authentic, and you can tell with people's lyrics that there's been an incredible amount of work, and sometimes that takes away from the song or whatever. Being a bit too clever is not always a great thing. Yeah. There's a lot of this was almost 3 years of kind of pre-production, and there's a huge amount of work in it. So as I was saying earlier, I got really into harmonies and Fleet Foxes and old Simon and Garfunkel stuff, and that's what I wanted. So there's lots of that kind of vocal, Grania Hunt is singing on it, and lots of really cool stuff. And then there's lots of synthy kind of stuff that maybe people wouldn't necessarily expect from me. With my sad singer-songwriter head of me, it's quite there's some really, really great kind of tunes. I've always had this thing that I was a lot happier than maybe people ever thought, so it's pretty up, I suppose. It's as a record, yeah.
We are one wing broken when the veil pulls back. We are wise, but we don't know. We are one wing broken with the tail pulled back. We are candlelit in low in our heart and in our eyes and in our dark, in our light. Storm clouds come and they cry, body blows in the back. God knows why I've been back. Come back. We are two wings eclipsing all the love we keep. We are